Hey, soldiers, Bidenomics is crushing the American citizen. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about why this is happening, and we're going to talk about one thing you need to do in light of everything that's going on. But first, let's hear from an American who is experiencing Bidenomics. We're not going to hear from Corinne Jean-Pierre. We're not going to hear from anyone in the administration with a whiteboard telling us how good this economy is. Let's hear from a real live American.
I get up every morning at 4:30. I let my dog out, feed him, get him situated, play with him for a little bit. 5 o'clock, I start getting ready for work. Get ready for work, I'm out the door by 6. Sometimes I stop for breakfast, sometimes I don't because I make it at home. I get here, my shift starts at 7 in the morning. I work from 7 to 4. Leave for the day. Take me about 45 minutes to an hour to get home because of traffic. I do this every day for 5 days a week just to get a damn paycheck that leaves as soon as it hits my account. All this to say, I got a job. Don't get me wrong. My dude, he works. Sometimes 12-hour days. He come home, he hurting, he sore, he tired. I'm hurting. I'm mentally tired from dealing with people all damn day and their attitudes. Y'all, I am stressed the out. And what's crazy is that this paycheck barely even helps. Barely. I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I want a new pair of scrubs. Or me and my dude want to go out for a nice dinner because we deserve it because we work hard. I don't drive a $100,000 car. I drive a regular ass fucking Jeep. He drives a regular damn SUV too. I don't wear Jordans. I don't do all that shit. I live a very simple life. The only splurge I have is getting my nails and my feet done here. I just started YouTubing how to do my own damn hair. I shouldn't have to feel guilty because I want to do something for myself. Y'all, I'm so stressed out. I need to clock in at 7 o'clock, which is literally in 2 minutes. And I'm at work. I just don't want to go in this bitch. Like, I'm sick of coming here out for me to get a paycheck that barely even... it barely even helps. It seems like the only motherfuckers that's happy is the damn crackheads and the millionaires and millionaires.
All right, that woman is working. Her man is working. All right? Now, you know how I feel about blue-collar jobs. You take them out of the equation and society will grind to a screeching halt. No question about it. Eliminate. Do you like Thanos in the Marvel movies? Snap your finger and eliminate the sanitation worker. And within probably a week, you'll be overrun by vermin. 2 weeks, disease will set in. Okay? So these individuals sound like her and her man sound like they're working blue-collar jobs. How long is the American citizen supposed to put up with living to work? All right? You heard her say that she struggles with just, the cosmetic things that ladies like to do, nails, hair. She's actually looking at YouTube videos, figure out how to do her own hair. I've been cutting my hair bald for many years. I need to do it today. And it's about saving money, okay? But she works every day, all right? You've heard her say she doesn't live a lavish lifestyle. She's not out there wearing the latest fashions or trying to drive the latest car. She wants an occasional dinner with her man. All right? Is that too much to ask in America these days? Are we just set up to where this new economic paradigm, Bidenomics, is got Americans out there just living to work, getting up every day to serve the Leviathan, and then there's nothing really or diminishing returns coming back, or when they want their taxes, right? It reminds me of that scene in 1984 where the guy gets off work and he's just walking through this desolate wasteland. He goes to his little apartment with no accoutrements in the place at all. It's drab. And he's just there. Okay? Get ready for the next day and go do it all again. That's not living. We're going to talk about something that I believe in, and you know I do, in terms of getting on the other side of that. Now, why is this happening? Well, two reasons. The main reason is inflation. All right. Now, I told you before, I think those interest rates are going to start coming down. Don't rejoice. The reason they're going to start coming down is because the Fed and the powers that be, they're going to sacrifice us, the American consumer, the American taxpayer, on the altar of inflation. They're going to bring those interest rates down so that the United States government is not liable for as much interest paid on the national debt as they would be in a high interest rate environment. But if they bring interest rates down, sure, that'll help the corporations. Sure, that will, help them, the government. But we will see inflation continue. We send out these emails and we touch bases with our client base, okay, periodically. And I want to share a note I got back from a particular, I'm not going to call this person a client. They're actually not a client, but they are a prospect, okay? Now, mind you, I send out information to educate people primarily. If they have questions, they can feel free to call me and I will try to examine their situation and, give my opinion. We go through this whole thing where I delve in to their personal financial situation to figure out what's going on with it. So if we need to get specific, but by and large, all we're doing, when we send this information out, our main thrust is to give information. And I did that here recently. And I have a prospect that wrote me back, says, "Hi, I listened to the video you sent last week, and one of these being a video series I sent out, and agreed about inflation and the cost of Miracle Whip." I've talked about that before, $10 for, I think 30 ounces of the stuff. That's where the video left me. So all this person is saying, all I got out of it was that Miracle Whip went up in price. My conclusion was then and now, I'm not smart enough to follow any of it. LOL. I'm not your target audience. 95% of the population is my target audience. And the reason for that is because there is so much ignorance, willful and otherwise, around the subject of personal economics. That is why the Fed can say, hey, we're going to lower these rates, inflate ourselves out of a bad situation here with the debt, or at least try to. It's astronomically impossible, but they're going to try it anyway. And people like this individual will write me and say, hey, I'm just not smart enough to figure it out. Whatever happens will happen, right? Americans in particular, whenever we want to learn something, we pull out all the stops. Now, if it's some sort of sports program, you ever meet someone? I had a friend, best friend, the guy was my brother basically, okay? But he was hyper-focused on sports. His knowledge was not only encyclopedic, but he could recall it like that. You could say, who did Muhammad Ali fight in 1965 on October 12th? And boom, he would not only tell you who, but give you all these facts and figures about, the intricacies of the bout, all right? Americans, you find a lot of American men that are capable of doing that. But then you find Americans that say, oh, my money, okay, my personal financial situation, I'm just not smart enough to figure it out, all right? Figure out anything else they want. Monopoly Go, I hear that's popular. Tell you what's happening on the latest TV show, Housewives of, Walbrook Junction. That's an area within Baltimore City. Tell you anything and everything you need to know about the most mundane, irrelevant subjects on the planet Earth, but too many are not willing to delve into what they need to know to improve their financial situation. No one is coming to save you. It is up to you, period. Now, having said that, what do people need to understand? Well, if we're going to have continued inflation, and look, put this in the comments. Have you ever known any price to decrease? All right. Like, okay, say 10 years ago, was milk where you purchase it less expensive than it is now? Well, of course it was. But is it now on par with that price a decade ago or lower? What price have you known to decrease? So inflation will continue to go up, but it's going to go up at a more prodigious and pronounced clip. So, you know what else is going to inflate? A lot of these asset prices. We see it in housing right now. And that's one thing that human beings cannot do without. So, you do what you want. This is not investment advice. What I am doing, and what I know other people are doing, is they're saying, you know what? I'm buying assets. Now, I know what you're saying. Tyrone, look, the lady just said she can't afford to get her hair done. How is she going to go out there and buy assets? Well, she may, okay, this is totally up to her. I don't know her. But what she may decide to do is educate herself on how to knowledgeably buy stocks. Okay? This is 2023. That information is available through a myriad of sources, 100% free. Okay? Now, we have a members only category here on YouTube. We call it the Officers Club. Hit join. We're not going to break your bank in terms of getting that knowledge to learn how to interpret the stock market and the performance of companies. But yes, maybe this woman and others like her and the person that texted me want to actually educate themselves and then go about investing in quality companies. Oh, but Tyrone, the lady said she doesn't even have enough money to get her hair done. How's she going to invest in stocks? Well, you know what? A lot of these brokerages offer fractional shares. You can take literally $5, and you can buy stock with it. And usually, these are not BS stocks. These are companies that are on the S&P 500. You got to do your own due diligence, all right? You got to figure out how to, interpret the performance of the company, evaluate the corporation. But, yeah, you can go out there and buy stocks for as little as $5. You can get a fractional share. Now, I'm not suggesting you keep doing that. But here's the other thing. Investing, this is the other problem, especially in the West in general, but specifically with Americans. We have no patience. We want it now. That's not how investing works, all right? You're not going to go out there and start investing in companies and then, bam, turn around and be filthy rich. That is not how it works. Anybody that tells you it does work like that is lying to you, all right? But if you start investing now, and look, we talked about the stock market, but there are other ways to invest. There are other asset classes, real estate for one, okay? If you start investing now, that's going to be, if you do it right, a lot better than you start investing 2 years from now. There's a such thing as compounding. Get that money working and accelerating and rolling into a big old snow, ball. I don't want to say rolling downhill because that implies in the stock market down is not good. Be patient. Allow that company to perform over time. And don't sit in front of a computer and click refresh every 3 minutes concerned with the you're not concerned with the minute-to-minute performance of a stock. All right? Check in with it every quarter. See how it's doing. Meanwhile, continue to read news about that company. Okay? To make sure it's still, if you invest in Apple, for example, China has just said that they're going to start prohibiting their government employees from using iPhones. This could have a material effect on the stock. Now, what is Apple doing about that? Is Apple going to cut ties with China at some point and move this business to another more friendly country. Maybe they need to do that. That's the kind of thing. It's like a job. You go to work for somebody else. You go to work for somebody else. And you spend time, 8 hours at least, making them money, right? Why can't you spend that same time educating yourself for a greater, potentially greater return? If you do nothing and just continue to grouse about your situation, I'm not going to say it won't change, but it's not going to change for the better. Okay, it will change, especially as inflation continues to rise. If you're in a rental situation, I know somebody who rents, and she was saying that they raise her rent by $100 every year. The average rent in America is $2,000. Okay, so they're raising this woman's rent $100 every year. She's already at $1,800. And this is not some lavish apartment. Okay, so assets will inflate also. Which assets? Hey, if I knew that specifically, then we would be having this conversation. I'd be on a Learjet, all right, or some big yacht. So I can't tell you exactly which ones, but assets will appreciate, inflate with every daggone thing else. So that's what I think I'm going to be doing here, is purchasing more assets. And when I say I'm purchasing more assets, guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not out here. I'm not Rockefeller. Okay, I'm not out here. Oh, I'm going to purchase $1 million. No, not hardly. I've been investing for many years, and I've invested small amounts, and I've invested bigger amounts. But I'm no Warren Buffett, so don't let that scare you. Now, I want you to watch this video. The Fed can't stop inflation, guys. They're out of ideas. They just can't stop it. So watch this video and understand why that is. Get some more insight into what is going on with inflation, why it won't stop, can't stop, won't stop, and how you can still thrive that situation. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.